Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Trench, sponsored by Phemex Official. Today we have Lady of Crypto on. She has been one of the fastest growing accounts during this last bull market. She was really good at spotting some of these trends early on. So today she's going to tell us how she got started. We're going to learn how she finds these tokens and these gems early on. And we're going to learn some other tips and tricks from her as well. But before we cut over to her, we're going to talk about Phemex Official. It is a leverage trading exchange that I have been using now for about 2 years. I really appreciate them sponsoring this podcast. There aren't very many trading specific podcasts on YouTube. So I think I've got a really special podcast here and I hope you guys are enjoying it. But they just added a ton of new spot trading pairs along with leverage pairs, which have been very fun to short lately, which is what I've been getting into. So if you want to check them out, there is a link below. I highly recommend the exchange. I can use a lot of trading size on there. The liquidity is great, especially on Bitcoin for using large size. So I have Lady of Crypto here. Please follow her on Twitter. It is at Lady of Crypto. Doesn't get any harder than that to find. So thank you so much for joining me today. I've been following you since I think you had less than 5,000 followers. Your videos have been awesome. I've really enjoyed all of your content and you have a little different style than myself. So I like to have some contrast on my feed.
Awesome. That's really nice of you to say. I'm surprised, I can't believe you've been following me since you post 10,000. It's really cool to kind of hear of people who have kind of been following me from pretty much the beginning, really. So, thanks a lot. And I'm really, really excited to be here. So thanks.
So I'm really curious how you got started into crypto, kind of what made you interested?
Well, we're going back a while, really. So I originally used to kind of dabble and just play around with stocks. And I've always had this very kind of businessy mindset of, I'd really like to, you see all these films and, even for me when I was younger, you see all these people making money through like the stock exchange and there's all those crazy films, like obviously more of a modern one like Wolf of Wall Street and things like that. And it just kind of got me a little bit interested. So I started kind of dabbling in stocks. And then came across crypto. So for me personally, it just felt like a completely different ball game. So, a really like a big day in stocks would be, if you became 2% up.
Right.
And then 2% in crypto is like a nothing day. It's just like, the returns are like absolutely astronomical. So that was like a point for me when I was like, what is this? And how do I get in? And how do I get in now? And then kind of since that interest, I then joined up with my trading team who have been in crypto since around kind of 2017, 2018. And basically since then I've fallen in love with it. I'm a bit of a new kid on the block. There's some huge names out there, but just what's happened over the last few months has helped kind of motivate me to be even better. And I'm just fully committed to the crypto community. Like I love it.
That's awesome. I actually just made a post yesterday about that, on Twitter, about being bored of the stock market when it's like a big move is 3%. And then over in crypto, it's like 30% overnight, which I also think is why it's easier to swing trade the stock market because you can go to bed holding a crypto position and then it's like a 30% move in either direction overnight. So it's quite crazy. And yes, the gains can be amazing and quick, but also the losses can be just as fast, if not faster, and huge as well. So are there any traders or mentors that you looked up to when you started getting into stocks or crypto?
Well, when I was kind of playing around with stocks, it was basically just me, very kind of naive and very much a noob. And how I kind of got into crypto and learned and developed was very much like I'd call it some great luck, really. So I met my mentor really randomly a while ago now, and basically we was introduced to him by another friend and he started talking about how, he wanted to get in better shape. He wanted to lose a little bit of weight, and he was struggling with diet and his nutrition and stuff like that. And before crypto, my expertise was, so I used to be a strength and conditioning coach. I'm a qualified dietitian. I've been, training for a very, very long time. And I was like, well, yeah, like I can help you with that. I know about food, and I know about lifting heavy things and putting them back down. And we carried on talking. And then he mentioned about, what he was into and what he does for a living. And he started to explain to me about his trading background and crypto as well. And I just was like, this could be a pretty good swap. So basically what we ended up doing was swapping expertise. So awesome. I got him ridiculously shredded, and he kind of passed on his knowledge to me. So it worked out really well. And this guy is a member of my team as well. So eventually we kind of came together, and now we work together. So yeah, it's cool.
Oh, that's really cool. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I actually think that's how I first came upon your page. Is there was something about you wanted to challenge yourself to be able to squat a certain weight or something, and I made some snarky comment saying that once you did it, I would interview you or something. But anyway, that's awesome. I love that kind of stuff. I'm into that thing as well. So maybe I might have to hit you up for some dietary tips, because I got this dad bod going on now. So having a kid makes it tough. So not as much free time, that's for sure. But anyway, so what would be, if you had to give a tip to noobs, what would be your number one tip to somebody that is just getting started out in crypto?
So there's a couple of things that I would suggest for noobs. If you're, new into crypto, I'd say one of the essentials is to learn how to do your own research. So loads of people say, do your own research before you get into a project, but it's one thing doing your own research, but you can only do that if you know how. So my advice is to put together a bit of a method or a strategy, consider the fundamental analysis side of things and the technical analysis as well. So my kind of expertise is in fundamental analysis, and that's what I use to get into a trade. And then I'll use the technical analysis side of things to manage my trade. So that's how I do it. It's definitely something that you need to learn in the beginning of crypto to avoid, making a bad investment. And secondly, which kind of ties into this, don't just ape into something because you've seen somebody on social media shill it.
So I do want to know real quick, this is always a fun one for me. What was the best moment you had as a trader?
I would have to say probably Kate. So myself and the team got in through the Oxbow Launchpad, and we were roughly up, I think at absolute peak, 3,500x.
Wow.
And for those of you that aren't familiar with Launchpad, so basically with a Launchpad, you buy the Launchpad token and you stake that, and it gives you access to the projects that they release at pre-sale prices. And there's a lot of different benefits. So sometimes the Launchpads will do staking and you'll get a really good APY, so average percentage yield. An example would be Seedify had a really good one. I think it was something like 75%. But basically you'll get a specific amount of allocation, and that varies, project to project. And different Launchpads will have different kind of requirements to do with allocation. So sometimes you'll have guaranteed allocation, and sometimes there might be a lottery-based system. So you're not always guaranteed it, but they are, good if you can manage to get into projects at pre-sale prices.
Right. Not available in the US, by the way. So next bull run, the way to make big gains is to get into launchpads, apparently. So we'll see if that stays true. Crypto's always changing and evolving. There's always something new, right? Like even NFTs were crazy if you got into some of them early this year. So on the flip side of that, your best moment was a incredible 3,500x on a trade. What about your worst moment as a trader?
My worst moment, it literally sends shivers down my spine. I've had many a bad dream about this project. So I got into Bunny, Pancake Bunny, for those who aren't familiar. It's a staking crypto.
That sounds like a great investment.
Of course, and I think, to be honest, I stopped looking, but I think in the end, I was something like 99.5% down, something like that. Like,
oh no,
it just went so bad, but you can't win them all.
Right. Yep. That's why you don't go all in, full basket into one product, because if she went all in to Cake Bunny or whatever it was, then, I mean, you could see how like one project can completely ruin everything for you. Even if she had, like, let's say she took that 3,500X, all those profits from that, and she was up huge, and then took it over into that other one that went down 95%. Like, you just don't ever want to overexpose yourself to one asset, because it only takes one asset to put your whole account to zero, right? So always understand that it's best to stay consistent with these position sizes and stay consistent with your risk management to avoid the one time where you think, oh no, this one's going to be the next 1,000% pump, but it surely is, and you're going to go big in it, and that's the time you lose. And then the times where you win is when you're like, oh, I should have gone bigger into that trade. But we've all been there. So
yeah.
All right. So do you have a morning routine? Do you have like a set start time or a certain breakfast or workout routine in the morning, or, coffee?
Yeah. So my kind of general morning routine, depending on how much of a busy day I have, depends on what time I get up, but it's generally speaking from kind of 6 till 7, something like that. I'll get up. I'm a big believer in kind of keeping active, physical activity. So I'll generally go to the gym, or if I don't go to the gym, I'll go for a walk or a run with the dog. Get home, and then coffee is an absolute must. I am an absolute coffee monster. If everything else fails in that day, I will have at least had a cup of coffee, like mandatory. And then I'll just have kind of 10, 15 minutes of, I suppose you could call it like a bit of a quiet time. Like, I'll just sit on the sofa with the dog, and no TV, no radio, just like relaxing really. And this is kind of the time where, I'm just chilling out, and it's like just my time before going into the chaos of crypto really. It just gets me in a good mindset and in a good frame of mind for the day.
That's really cool. Actually, my earlier podcast with Karush, he talked a lot about meditation. And what you just said, that is actually kind of a form of meditation, just kind of clearing your mind, relaxing, getting away from the stress, because there's nothing worse. And I notice it if I'm like on my phone all morning, like, keeping up with the markets and keeping up with Twitter and whatever. And then I get to my computer, I'm already like kind of worked up, or, like in kind of like I don't know if it's like a rushed headspace or what, but if I kind of like put them away and I don't take my phone into the gym with me in the morning, and I don't check my phone when I get home, I wait till I log on to check the computer, to check everything, I feel like a lot more refreshed, a lot more calm and relaxed. So there's definitely something to not being attached to them all the time, especially early on in the morning. So if anyone is struggling with kind of like feeling overwhelmed in the mornings, or cluttered in your head or whatever, take 15, 20 minutes away from everything and just kind of relax, get some sunlight, read a book or whatever you can to kind of just help yourself relax before you get started in the day, because mental and headspace and your current attitude and feelings can be projected into your actions in the market. So if you're feeling really stressed out, and you come down to sit down, you might start forcing trades, or, this and that. So that's a really great point she just made about just kind of like getting away from everything and letting your mind calm down, and, being in a good space before you get started. So that's really cool. So do you have any like crazy setup? Do you have like 400 monitors? You have a team. So do you like have them all on like pagers, and you can like page them anytime you need something, and they're like, hey, I got this crypto. You got to go buy. It's pancake swap head dog. You got to go get this. It's the next big thing. And then you got another call, and he's like, no, pancake head swap dog is dead. Go for the dog bunny. Get the dog bunny. And you're like, hey, my team member Kyle just called. And you got like 3 phones now, and you're like, no, I'm just kidding. Probably not. But anyway, what kind of setup do you use?
100%.
Did I nail it?
No. So kind of the opposite to the whole 400 monitors things, really. I like to keep things super simple, and I take that kind of approach to my trading as well, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit later. But I literally have my laptop and I have a second monitor. So I think it's a MSI 28 inch, nothing fancy. And, I've just got the second monitor to give me a little bit more of a scope of screen. I know a lot of people prefer multiple monitors, and especially for those people who are, making scalp trades and things, it might be more ideal. But for me personally, it's enough. So yeah, that's it really. Nothing fancy, nothing super flashy.
Keep it simple. I like it. So when you get logged in for the morning to your computer, what's the first window you pull up when you get on your computer?
So generally, day to day, the first thing that I'll pull up is TradingView. If you guys aren't familiar, it's just a super great website. It's for kind of keeping an eye on your charts, managing your trades. It's just super easy to navigate around. It's got, in my opinion, all the tools that you could possibly need. And yeah, it's just super organized and it really works for me.
Yes, I love TradingView. That's where my custom indicator Top Goon X is on. So if you are unfamiliar with TradingView, anyone watching, or you want to learn more about it, I actually have a tutorial that I will put up here at the top of the screen for you guys, just to be able to learn more about that. It's like a quick 5 to 10 minute video just on little tips and tricks and extra features on TradingView. So make sure you check that out if you are new. What's another? So you get logged on, you pull up TradingView. Most of us look at the Bitcoin chart first thing. Is there any other tabs you have pulled up or anything else you use that helps you out?
I'll open Twitter. That's a must. I'm pretty active on Twitter throughout the day. I've got quite my following are very chatty, so to speak. So I like to kind of engage with people and see what's going on in the world, really. Another one for me, so if I have a day where I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of research, so CoinMarketCap is a must. That's really great for people who are just getting into crypto as well. So a little kind of side tip, if you're wanting to find like legit sites for a project, if you go on CoinMarketCap and type in the crypto, it gives you things like the light paper, white paper, access to like legitimate sites, just to stop you like clicking on scam links and things. So that's like a really good resource. As well, I get my Discord open, and I think that's about it.
Very cool. That's a great tip. I really appreciate that. I did not know that about CoinMarketCap actually. So I'm sure a lot of my followers did not. I usually go straight to the website to get the white paper. So that might actually save me some effort. You said you had a Discord. What kind of, content is shared in your Discord?
So my Discord's actually, it's open and it's free. So if anybody wants to join, feel free to head over.
Yeah, we'll make sure I'll put a link in the bio for everyone, for anybody that wants to join. Definitely. Just
kind of, I'll tend to put my trades in there before I tweet them. And I have my team members active in there as well. So we have a guy who does quite a bit of day trading. He does like a little bit of kind of short and long trading in there. So all sorts of stuff, really. Just it's kind of the point of call before the Twitter. Not too much before, but yeah, cool. And it's just kind of a central place to get things out, really.
Okay, so let's talk more. I'm curious to know more about your trading. Do you have a watch list, and how do you go about setting that watch list up?
Yeah, so I have a watch list. I generally structure it around how I set out my portfolio. So I split my portfolio up into 3 sections: low risk, which generally is like your blue chip cryptos. I have a medium risk portfolio where it's basically my trading portfolio. And then I have a high risk for when I want to be a complete degen and just go for something. So I have different categories in my watch list for those. And there's this cool little tool actually, and I can show you guys. It's something that I use. Something that I use quite regularly. So
how did you make those tabs on your watch list? I see it says blue chips and games. I've never done that before.
Yeah. So it's really simple. So it's just like a little addition that you can add down the side, and you can also add these cool little flags. So, some at the minute, these are just kind of indications to me of things that I need to keep an eye on. Just with the current state of the market, I have changed things up a little bit, but usually what I do is I have like a bit of a traffic light system. So I have like a red, amber and green, and that just kind of indicates to me how frequently that I need to check a trade. So for example, if I wanted to put one on Atom, I could click on it and then you can see there's like multiple colors. Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to check that quite frequently, I'd put it on a red. If maybe a few times a day, I'd go amber. And then if it was just sat there chilling and I was like, yeah, okay, then I'd put it as green. But obviously, you to be honest, green is for more like the blue chip kind of things for me.
All right. Well, that's really cool. Do you do like a morning scan? And if you do, is there like certain things you're looking for in the morning, maybe on your watch list, or things that would maybe stand out to you?
I do a general scan. So the first thing is obviously seeing what, how much torture Bitcoin is going to put me through the day. So I'll come on, I'll have a look at Bitcoin. I'll kind of see what's been going on overnight, even though I will have been dreaming about it. And, Bitcoin kind of gives you a pretty good indication of what's been going on in the market. Obviously, there will be the odd crypto that kind of decouples away from that. But, generally speaking, it will give you a really good indication. And then I'll basically go through my watch list of kind of starting with the cryptos that I'll be keeping an eye on more frequently, and just working my way up to basically just checking that everything is, I'm in the best possible position that I can be in. And if I want to average down my position at all, or if I need to take profit, then that would be the time that I generally do that.
Do you ever use alerts on your charts?
No, I probably should do, but if I'm honest, I'm at my screens for such a long period of time that I don't specifically need to at this point.
You're like, don't bother me when I'm away.
Exactly, yeah. But I have like a really, some might call it a bit like, I don't know, OCD, but I'm really, really organized with my trades. I know where things are. I know, I'll have always have a rough idea of the general direction something is going in, because I'm just always at my screen. So, it's easy for me to just pop back and check if I think something's a little bit indecisive or, yeah. So for me personally, I don't use them, but I do think they are a handy tool to use.
You probably have team members that update you all the time anyways when you're not around, huh? But you also do a lot of more high time you also do a lot more high time frame trading as well. So in that case, you don't necessarily need as many alerts unless, the market nukes 30% in one day. So
touch wood.
Yeah, no joke. All right, great. So you find a trade. How do you go about finding a trade? I see that you have a lot of zones marked out here. Can you kind of explain what you use those for?
Yeah, so just in kind of a bit of a whistle-stop tour, really. So the way I like to map out my charts is I have major and minor support resistance areas. Some people use support and resistance lines. I generally use areas just because I think that, are you going to dead set hit that line, or are you going to potentially miss a buy-in or profit-taking opportunity because you've done a line instead of an area? So I feel like the area is just a little bit more flexible, and just having a zone to bear in mind is just something that I personally prefer. So here I've got purple. I've just used purple and green. There's no specific reason behind that, but the purple lines signify major support and resistance areas, and the green lines are minor. So, for example, so Bitcoin, we started to kind of see a bit of a downward trend going on, and we hit this support area here. Can you see that okay? Yeah?
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah. So for me, that was a bit of an indication, right? Okay, so we've hit kind of a major support area now, and I bought some Bitcoin. So basically I am like, at the moment, I'm kind of just building up my bag. I'm almost averaging down my position on Bitcoin. And then, we've seen a little bit more of a downward trend going on. So for me, this is an indication of here. It's a minor level. So this is when I'd be thinking about, right, okay, do I want to buy maybe a smaller bag? And then I've got one here around the 30K mark. That's when I'd buy an even bigger bag. So it's just like little indicators for me. I think it's really important to use them. And this is just my method. I like to keep things nice and simple.
Awesome. So when you're going to look to get into a position, are you setting limit orders in those areas, or are you seeing how price reacts and then marketing in if you like what you see?
Sometimes, I do a bit of both. So I do market and limit orders. But if I'm looking to get into a specific trade, generally speaking, I do wait for the dips. So I may put like a limit order just underneath the support. But like I say, I'm generally at my charts for really long hours in the day. So, I keep an eye on them regularly. So if there's something that I'm specifically thinking, right, okay, where can I get in here? I will keep an eye on things, and hopefully I get the dip and get in at the right point.
Cool. I like to do the same thing, is kind of see where things are sitting and kind of be, at my computer when the action's happening to see if I like the reaction, because there's been times where, or, even recently, if you set limit orders here at like 52K, or I think that's 50K right here, you were just gotten absolutely annihilated, right? So you just never know with crypto. You can think that there's a strong support there and it's not. So setting limit orders can be risky at times, especially with leverage, I would say. So for me personally, and I know this podcast is about me, but for me personally, setting limit orders on leverage is a lot more risky than doing it on spot orders. So for anybody watching this, that might be a little helpful tip. Do you have a set risk management strategy or like rules that you follow?
Yeah, so I get a lot of criticism for this on Twitter, actually. So I take profit really regularly. So
Boo, you're supposed to hold. You're supposed to hold till you're a billionaire, and XRP is at $589, and only then are you allowed to sell. Okay.
I want to meet the guy who predicts the top every single time. Show me this guy, and I will hold till
on stream with him. End. I'm always calling tops. It's the only thing I'm good at. But to be fair, that is like the only thing I'm good at is calling tops. I'm terrible at bottoms.
Well, it's a very good thing to be good at.
Yeah, very true. I'm definitely the first person to sell when I think there's a top. That's so true. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So it kind of, for me, depends on the market cap, really. So I have this kind of ethos of, and again, a lot of people may disagree with this, but I like to get my seed investment out as soon as I possibly can. So the seed investment is, for those who aren't familiar, is basically the amount of money that you're putting into a trade initially. So, for example, like I say, for me, it depends on the market cap with the strategy that I'll take. So if I'm dealing with a low market cap, then when I'm 100% up, I will take out 50% of my initial seed investment. And when I'm 200% up, I'll take out the other 50% of my seed investment. If I'm dealing with a high market cap, when I'm up 50%, I'll take out 50% of my initial seed investment. And when I'm up 100%, I'll take out the other 50%. I know that was like a massive mouthful.
That's really cool.
But that's just my thing that I do, because, once you've got your seed investment out, you are literally coasting off profit like it's house money. Mm-hmm. So then when I hit the next resistance level, again, I take profit. So I'll take maybe 20 to 30% of the total floating profit. And, that's my method, and that's what works for me. And, I think by taking profit regularly, the whole kind of feeling and nature of crypto is it's so volatile. So, unless you're you, Gunnar, and predict the top every single time, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to predict that top every single time. And it's just, for me, it is a good way of risk management.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to predict the top every time when I just call the top on every green candle on a 1 minute chart. So, no, that's really cool. The rules you have in place, I don't think very many people have like an actual, if I ask that question to a lot of people, they might give me mixed answers if I asked it to them, in a week from now. Your answer is going to be the same every time. It's very good discipline. Even if people don't like your rule set, it's good for them to be able to like see that somebody has rules and maybe set their own, because you just never know, right? With crypto, you said there's so much volatility. You could see the same exact chart 10 times, same exact market cap, same exact fundamentals, and one of them does a 10x and 8 of them do a 2x and die, and then one of them, kind of screws around in the middle. So you just never know when you're going to get a 50% pullback or a 20%. Everyone's always bullish at the top. The charts always look the most bullish at the top. So if you're feeling that euphoria and you don't have a plan, then you're never going to want to sell, right? Because you're always going to think, oh, this is going to go higher. The chart looks great. So you should always be in the back of your mind, especially, like this is your full-time job, right? So for us, especially, we don't have a secondary income coming in. It's all crypto, it's all trading. So we have to take profits regularly and to feel good about seeing money come in a money stream, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think as well, like on another level. So for me, again, me personally, having that level of discipline also helps with the psychological aspect of trading, because, that's a really big thing that I think sometimes is overlooked by people. So for me personally, it's really important not to make a trade if I'm experiencing, like, if I'm feeling really frustrated or angry or upset or even like super excited about a trade, because, when you're feeling those kind of things, you're not always going to make the decision that you would make if you weren't feeling that. So if you were just normal and chilled and, nice and focused, would you necessarily make the same decision? And, by having this structure for me personally, excuse me, it takes out a bit of the kind of emotional aspect, because I know what I'm going to be doing. And I know that, right, okay, if this happens, this is what I do. If this happens, this is what I do. So there's no kind of and ahhing or like extreme emotion, because it's just a set out plan.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a bad emotional state and I'll like make a dumb trade and then immediately I'm like, oh, I got to get right back out of this because, I'm not one to let my losers run. So I'll like take a small loss on fees and whatnot. And I'll be like, okay, put the charts away. Like I'm not in a good mood. I'm going to, take the dog on a walk or something. So definitely emotions can have a big impact. And that's why a lot of people don't take profits, because they're so euphoric and they're so greedy up high. But for you, it's like, oh, this is going up. I know what to do. Bam, take some profit. Oh, it's going up more. I know what to do. Bam, take some profit. It's just systematic. There's no variables involved anymore. It's all, if A happens, B happens. If B happens, C happens. And you just go down the list, and it's a nice plan. And you already know what you're going to do. So that is the biggest advice I can help with anybody as well, is just have a plan, have a set plan, because when things get crazy are always the times you need to make critical decisions, which is why we have fire drills at school, right? So when there's a fire, we're not all running around with like chickens with our head cut off going, fire, I don't know what to do. And then everyone burns up in the fire, right? We have, there's a fire. I know what to do. I'm kind of panicking inside, but I know what to do because we've done it a million times. We got to walk out this door, whatever. So how many times have you set a bid, or have you set, I want to buy Bitcoin at 38K, right? And when Bitcoin's at 50K and then it gets down to 38K and you're like, I don't know if I want to buy Bitcoin now. I'm kind of scared to buy here. Maybe I'll buy at 36K or 35K, right? So it's all about having that plan. And over time, the plan usually, wins out over emotions, especially. So I know you aren't really a big fan of indicators. You may basically go off price action, support and resistances. I love that. Just keeping it simple. Are there any other indicators that you have used that you like, or any tips or anything useful to other people that you want to pass along?
Yeah. So with regards to the indicator side of things, to me, I find them a little bit subjective. I think that sometimes when you use them, they can be right and they can work and it's great. And then other times they're not quite there for me. But again, that's just my opinion. I don't want people, loads of messages on Twitter saying, oh my God, you hate indicators, I'm unfollowing you or anything like that. Like, each to their own. But
well, that is a great point though, because even the most experienced traders will tell you, and I think Big Cheds said this on his podcast with me, was don't let the indicator is not going to tell you what's happening with the price. The price is making the indicator react, right? So if you're basing your trades off the indicator, then you're kind of doing it backwards. So you should always go figure out what's in price action and then verify it with your indicator. It's almost like a fail safe, right? It's like, okay, this is what the price is doing. Now, is the indicator doing this as well, or is price action kind of lying to me? So you made a great point. I think a lot of people do it backwards, and that's why you see all these failed divergences or, misinterpretations of what the indicator is showing.
Exactly, 100% agree. And especially if Big Cheds is saying it as well, come on.
Right. Yeah, that guy's a magician for sure. He's very good at just explaining exactly what's happening on the chart. And then you're like, oh, I can't even argue that. He's right. He's just saying exactly what's on the chart, right? So that's a great lesson for people to learn. It's unemotional and just very straight to the point. So what is the biggest lesson you've learned from trading that you would like to share with people?
The biggest lesson in trading, there has been many. I think I would probably say it is to do with trading, but it also kind of links into the Twitter side of things. So I am pretty new to Twitter. I mean, I only started my Twitter account don't quote me, I'm sure it was September last year. So, I've met some amazing people through Twitter. There's some, weird and wonderful people, and it's been awesome. But there is also like the kind of dark side to Twitter, and you'll know, you may know, there is you get a lot of criticism, and I don't know if, you're the same. I get a lot of criticism, people telling me, you're wrong, your methods are wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, right, okay, cool, okay. I think for me, the biggest lesson is to believe in your methods if they are working for you, and not to just follow something because somebody is telling you that you're wrong or that you should do this. It's about finding what works for you. It's making sure that you do all your research thoroughly. And I would suggest having like some kind of method that you follow each time so you don't miss anything out. But yeah, like if people are going to criticize you, then they should at least be able to kind of be able to back you up and say the reasons why. So just don't be a sheep, do your method, do what works for you, and just enjoy crypto because it's just awesome.
Yeah, I love it. You guys, you hear that? Don't be a sheep, okay? Be at least a lamb. Are those the same thing? I don't know. Be a goat. Do not be a sheep. Be a goat. All right. No, I 100% agree with you. I draw my trend lines weird as opposed to everyone else on Twitter. Everyone hates my trend lines and they always argue with them. And then the ones that get most argued are the ones that work out the best. And I'm not just throwing some random line on a chart. I have rules. I have invalidations. I have, things that tell me if the trend line is actually right or not, because of course I want my bias to be right. So I could adjust these trend lines just to how my feelings are, right? If the trend line's not working, just move it, right? So to avoid that, I of course have rules as well. So I think that the market is, you're trading against a lot of algos and bots, algorithms and bots. So really whatever's visual pleasing doesn't matter. It's whatever works. You could put your line straight diagonal through the chart, and if you're making money from that line hitting, go for it. If everyone hates it, who cares? It's like, I'm not going to go criticize a surgeon telling him he's doing something wrong. I don't know what a surgeon does. So, I'm not a surgeon. If you're not a full-time trader, then it's probably not worth trying to tell somebody who is profitable and does this full time that they're doing it wrong. Better to just learn or maybe even take some tidbits away from them. So hopefully you guys got a lot of those today, because this was full of alpha. I learned a few things today. I always learn a lot from these. So Lady of Crypto, thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate having you. and sharing with my followers everything that you've learned through the bull market and your time in crypto. I've enjoyed following you on Twitter. I've learned a lot from you on the fundamental side because I'm not a fundamental trader. So if you guys want fundamentals, she does a lot of good videos on Twitter. So again, make sure to follow her, Lady of Crypto, on Twitter. Also, if you want to check out her Discord, you can view the link below. If you want to check out Phemex for trading, there is also a link below for that. But if there's anything else you want to say, lady, please say it now. And otherwise, we will catch everyone next time.
Just to throw a spanner in my works, my Twitter is @LadyOfCrypto1.
Dang it. It's at 1? So who have I been following this whole time? Don't worry, my designer, you guys, my editor is going to put this on there on the screen for you at the beginning and at the end the right way so you guys know who to follow. Also, we will put that down in the description below. But honestly, I don't even know if I ever noticed there was a 1 at the end. So now, fail, big fail.
It's fine, don't worry.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks for joining Lady of Crypto 1, and we will catch you guys next time. Peace.
Sorry?
Oh, I said me too. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's because I can't see you. I'm like, I didn't know whether I did something wrong. Sorry, can we do that again?
Yeah. So when you log into your computer in the morning to get started for the day, what's the first chart? Saying that, I gotta stop looking at the chart. Okay, rewind. I got this now.